Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello everybody. Well, some interesting developments here for today. Well, for one thing, my friggin' mailbox is frozen shut. Can you believe, last night, we got like a blizzard run through here, and it only brought down about 2.5 inches of snow. But what a blizzard. That wind was just howling. The tarp is still hanging onto the side of the building. The temperature dropped like a stone. It's like in the negative numbers outside right now. And so when that happens, the mailboxes freeze closed, right? I got a package sitting out there in a box. It's probably not going to get ruined in the cold, but I tried to open that damn box and I almost broke the key trying to do it because I could hear the key giving way, and I was like, well, this is not going to open. There's nothing that I can do. I'm just going to have to wait until it gets warmer out or whatnot, or just maybe I think I have some de-icer or something I could probably spray in that if it doesn't get warmer tomorrow. I don't know. At any rate, it's a minor inconvenience. We've had boxes. Yes, I see you, Smokey. We have boxes that have been frozen before, out there, and they've been repaired, but it takes the landlord forever to go out there and put a new key in the damn box. So I just, I'm hoping I won't have to do that again, but to get them to fix it. But if this one doesn't, if it's not able to be opened, then they'll have to replace the key on that. The boxes are old, and that's just how it is with winters, I wish they would bring the packages to the door, but I guess they don't want to walk to the door when it's freezing out. Okay, so to the point. The Supreme Court today gave Trump a little bit of a victory here, okay? And this is from The Guardian. And it's entitled, Supreme Court's Decision to Hear Trump's Immunity Claim Sanctions His Delay Strategy. This is written by Sam Levine. The U.S. Supreme Court's Wednesday decision to hear Donald Trump's claims that he cannot be prosecuted for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election marked the court's direct entry into the 2024 presidential election. The decision to hear the case and delay his criminal trial in Washington, D.C. was unquestionably one of Trump's biggest legal victories to date. Fending off the 91 criminal charges against him, the cornerstone of Trump's legal strategy has been to try to delay each of the 4 criminal trials against him until after the election. If he wins the presidency, however, he would have the power to install an attorney general who would dismiss the federal cases against him. His claim of immunity in the federal election interference case brought by Jack Smith, the Justice Department special counsel, is seen as novel and a long shot, but it nonetheless has succeeded in slowing down the case against him. The court has now essentially sanctioned Trump's delaying strategy. Even though it set a relatively quick argument for the week of April the 22nd, the court put the case on hold while it was being considered. Even if the court moves quickly to reach a decision in May, something is not known to do, which is something it's not known to do. A trial in the case would not start until the summer. If the court were to wait until the end of its term in late June or early July, the trial would be pushed back until late September. The heart of the election season, as The Guardian has previously reported. If, quote, if the court does not issue an opinion until late June, are we really going to see the trial court put Trump on trial during the general election season or even during the RNC convention? I find this very hard to believe, unquote. Richard Hansen, a law professor at the University of California, Los Angeles, wrote in a blog spot, quote, "This could well be game over," unquote. The delay is of the court's own making. Jack Smith, the special counsel prosecutor handling the election interference case, first came to the Supreme Court in December and asked the justices to quickly take up the issue so that the trial would not be delayed. The court declined to do so. After the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit ruled Trump was not immune in February, Smith again urged the court to act quickly in a brief filed on February the 14th. The court instead waited 2 weeks to announce it would take the case. That delay was a bit puzzling. Quote, "Why wait if the court is going to actually hear the case on the merits?" Unquote, Hassan wrote. Steve Vladeck, a law professor at the University of Texas, speculated that the delay might reflect some division on the court and that the justices had reached a compromise. Quote, "One camp of some number of justices wanted to keep the prosecution on hold indefinitely. One camp wanted to stay out of the case altogether. And neither of those camps apparently had enough votes, which is how we ended up here," he wrote in a Q&A on his Substack, One First. Quote, "So what this says to me is that the middle of the court, the Chief Justice, Justice Brett Kavanaugh, and Justice Amy Coney Barrett, wants to resolve this issue, but also wants to resolve it before the election, even if the result is to make it practically impossible for the trial to wrap up by November," unquote. In an interview, Vladeck noted that the court did not give Trump the best possible outcome, saying the lower case, while not hearing the case until the fall, quote, "if the court's only goal was to help Trump, this was not the way to do it," unquote, he said. Quote, "There's no neutral, there's literally nothing the court could have done here that would not have been perceived as starkly political," unquote, he added. Quote, "Folks look at this timeline and say, well, what the heck, the court could have moved faster," and that's true. The court could have moved faster. I think the problem is that historically the context in which the court has moved faster are, in my view, indisputable legal emergencies and not just political emergencies," unquote. Regardless of what the Supreme Court rules on the immunity question, by delaying the trial, it has now directly linked itself to Trump's fate in the 2024 election. It is a perilous move for a court that is already suffering a credibility crisis and is widely seen as a body that favors Republicans and conservatives. It comes as the court appears poised to overturn a Colorado decision removing Trump from the 2024 ballot and declare he is eligible, even though that decision may have broad support on the court. Taken with the delay in the immunity case, it may give the public an impression that the court is helping Trump out in the election. Trump is also maneuvering to delay the other election interference case against him in Fulton County, Georgia, by making allegations of impropriety by Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis. If both that case and the federal election case against him are delayed until after the election, it may mean that Trump could return to the presidency without ever facing criminal accountability for his attempts to subvert democracy. So, yeah, I'll tell you, what is it that Nancy Grace said? The devil's dancing a jig tonight, Okay, yeah, that's true. The devil's getting its way tonight, and it's it shouldn't be of any surprise to anyone. Trump has a way of getting what he wants, maybe not always the way he wants it, but it's working. His ultimate goal of delaying the process until after the election is still going good. But as someone pointed out, if the Supreme Court decided that what Trump did violates or actually can't be covered under immunity, that would be like cutting their throats, because what will happen is that from that point on, okay, let me rephrase this in a different way. Say that the Supreme Court comes out and decides that, Trump doesn't have immunity, okay, in this matter, okay, or that he does. Let's just say it like that. Let's just say he does have immunity in this matter, okay? They came out today and they don't delay, but they just said, okay, he's got immunity, okay? What that's going to do is open the door for future presidents to go ahead and do what they want, because they know that, hey, under this guy, he did all kinds of wrongs, but the Supreme Court backed him, and they say he's got immunity. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Even if the president wants to go out and hire somebody to kill his opponent, hey, can't touch him. He's the president. He's got immunity from crime, okay? I don't think the Supreme Court really wants to go there. I really don't. And I think that's one of the reasons why they said that the Supreme Court wasn't willing to go all the step further to give him that immunity, and why they may never give him that immunity. They just are going to play the delay tactic, run the clock out, as it were. I think that's what they're trying to do. Because if they wait till after the election, well, then it puts the ball back in Trump's court to do what he wants, to cleanse himself of the crime by, like what it said in here, attorney general, and they just dismiss the whole fucking case, and game over, okay? Trump gets away with everything. The problem with that is, if we let that happen, that will in turn still leave the door open for future presidents to try and do the same thing, to try and repeat what Trump did. So that way they still won't have to answer for the friggin' crimes that they commit, okay? Because then they'll say, well, I'll just play the delay tactic until I get my ass back in the White House or something, okay? Or I get somebody in the White House that'll dismiss all the charges, and then I still get away scot-free. Because, hey, Trump did it. You know what I'm saying? Trump here is the focal point to whether or not our country, the whole system of democracy, really is viable, because he's put it on the chopping block, essentially. Okay, damned if you do and damned if you don't. The Supreme Court was backed into a corner here, I think, today, and the fact is, they couldn't really come out one way or the other. What they chose to do, and what they're trying to do, is kick this case out, keep it out, because they don't want to be the ones to have to say one way or the other. Okay, because either way, it's going to cause a problem that down the road, because this is a precedent-setting decision. Yes or no. Does he have immunity? Yes or no. Either answer is a precedent-setting decision, because if he has immunity, then it's okay for future presidents to break the law and do whatever the fuck they want. They'll never be held accountable for it. If they say he doesn't have immunity, then that still sets the stage for future people, future presidents, to sidestep the law by using delay tactics to get away with it, because they know that there is no contingency for the courts to follow in case a person does that. Okay? Because nobody's doing anything about stopping him from delaying these tactics. Right? The courts are not standing on their ground and saying, look, we told you this is going to be done today. That's today. Okay? We're not going to delay this for a month. You're going to stand trial. You're going to have whatever lawyers you got, any defense you got, that's what you got. Guilty or innocent is what's going to be decided on what happens now. Courts are not doing that. They're giving him all kinds of latitude here. They're not enforcing gag orders on him when he goes out there and runs his mouth off. And I mean, it's so bad he's being sued by Carol, whatever. She's constantly suing him for millions of fucking dollars because the court won't put a gag order on him, or they try and he won't listen to them. You see what I'm saying? He's getting away with all kinds of crap. Yeah, he's paying his fines and stuff. He's not happy about it, but he's got the money to do it. Okay? The point is that Trump is a doorway into a dark, dark future for this country. He really is. And in a way, it's sort of prophetic. Because now we've been given by fate in our hands the choice. What kind of America do you really want to be? Because in the past, you guys haven't really been doing your share of being in America, okay? You've been racist. You've been very dismissive of laws. You're killing each other out on the streets, okay? You're making life miserable for the poor and well for the rich. So what kind of a country do you want to be? This Trump rate is really, in a way, I think, I'm not going to go as far as saying a religious thing, but I think he had his destiny is what's going on right here, right now. It ain't the wealth. The wealth was part of it. Being wealthy, being born rich was part of it, but his ultimate destiny was to put America under the spotlight. We're being asked, what kind of a country do you really want to be? Are you going to honor the stars and stripes? Are you going to go for the Confederate flag or the swastika behind? You know what I'm saying? We're being asked right now. This isn't really about whether or not Biden becomes president again. This election is really about what kind of America are we going to be from this November on. Okay? It's up to us now. The Supreme Court's not going to be able to make this decision. That's been taken out of their hands. They don't even want to touch it. It's a hot potato issue. They don't even want to look at it. They're shoving it right back at us, at the lower courts, at the people. And what they're saying is, you guys, if you don't like Trump, vote him, don't vote for him. Okay? That's basically the only punishment this man is going to get, is he's not going to get his second chance in the White House. That's the best way you can punish this man. Okay? But don't kick it to us. Okay, the last time we got involved in a political matter in 2000, it backfired in our faces, and the court's been limping along ever since. But the thing of it is that right now, this is even a bigger political matter, and the Supreme Court is really skittish about dealing with this thing. They're only doing what they can, which is kick the can down the road. That way, they can't be accused of being for or against somebody. Okay? But what people are going around saying is that, oh, well, the court's doing this to help Trump because when the time comes when the election and they haven't decided nothing, then, hey, Trump can pardon himself, essentially, and he won't have to answer for a fucking crime he ever did. Okay? And the thing of it is that, there's arguments to go for or against that. And it certainly looks suspicious around the world when the highest court in the land can't even seem to get their shit together and decide whether they want to stand on the Constitution or stand on Trump's dollars. Okay, I don't know. I mean, the division in the court, you bet there must be. There's got to be. I mean, if there's any semblance of a democratic voice in the Supreme Court, then there must be dissent. There's got to be. I mean, it can't. I mean, I realize that Republican justices dominate the Supreme Court. You know, there's 6 of them, and the rest of them are Democrat. But the fact is that there can't be, a whole lot of quiet happening behind closed doors there. There's got to be a lot of argument, and the fact that the best that they can do is this, by delaying things until after the election or trying to delay things till after the election, shows cowardice on the court as a whole. Frankly, I don't think that means that the Supreme Court should still exist as it stands now. I think that all the justices should be taken out and all new justices put back in. I really think that's where we're at, because obviously their partisanship is what's keeping them from doing their job. Okay, being a Supreme Court justice essentially is basically saying you have to stand outside the United States. Okay, you're the overseers of what is American and what isn't, which means you can't even be on the side of what you think is American. All you got to be on the side of is what's laid out in front of you in the Constitution. Okay, that's what you have to be. You got to be the voice of the people from the past. And if you can't do that, if you find yourself unable to do that because you're being bribed or you got whatever other issues that are going on, then you really can't be a justice. Okay, you really should sequester yourself, or whatever they call it. Kick your ass out, fire yourself, whatever. You really shouldn't be there because you broke your oath. The minute you said you promised to whoever, you broke your oath right then and there, because you know goddamn well you weren't going to keep your word to anybody except yourself. So today, I think what happened, yeah, it's a victory for Trump. Maybe not as big as Guardian is trying to say, but it certainly delays this thing even further. And what's going to happen is the only punishment Trump is going to get is through the election. The only thing that's going to matter to him is whether or not he becomes president. That's really what he's shooting for. And if we deny him that goal, then he can't exonerate himself. Okay, then the wheels of justice are going to have to turn, because they can't delay that anymore after that. Okay, and you know, it's just because Trump at that point is going to be a nobody. If he can't win this time, then he's really his goose is cooked. Okay, forever. He's too old. He's already losing people in his base. Okay, his popularity is sinking. Okay, you got people out there that are willing to vote for Nikki Haley rather than Donald Trump, and that's not good. I mean, it just it's sad that, you know, the way this guy was on top, and he's and because of his own faults, he's losing everything. Okay, and the final loss will be his election to try to get back into the White House. But like I said, we could get him out of the race legally. We could get him out of the race, and some of the states have already made that clear, that we don't think he deserves to be on the ballot because he incited a riot. That's the one thing right there that really speaks loud and clear that Trump should not be president. Right there, that one thing. Right now they're talking about immunity from the crimes that he had, but on just that one issue of inciting a riot against your own government, that alone right there would get him disqualified to run. And some of the states aren't going to play the footsie game. They're just not going to do it, you know. And you know, like I said, there's so many ways we could take him out of the race. But like I said, he's got allies all over the fucking country. You know, I mean, who? You know, I have to wonder. I mean, you know, how the money he has or had. I don't know. He's probably got, you know, trillions of dollars, not billions, maybe trillions of fucking dollars at his disposal. Okay, I don't know. Only he knows that. But I can't imagine that he'd be smart enough to be able to invest in things and make 3 times what he was worth when he was born. Okay, I mean, he went bankrupt so many fucking times. But I got to say that, you know, if he ain't doing it that way through money, then he's been doing it through brute force. You know, killing people, hiring people, execute. You know what I'm saying? Being like the mafia, essentially. I'd have to say that's the way he's running things, or been running his life, is that he runs everything like he's a goddamn mafia. Okay, which probably explains why so many people seem to, you know, run away from him instead of standing toe to toe with this bastard to take him out. I mean, they're scared shitless of him. The politicians are too afraid to, you know, to speak the truth about him. His own people that he hires, when he gets rid of them, they're too afraid to come out against him. I mean, this guy's got dirty laundry on everybody, or he's just got thugs out there willing to take people out at a moment's notice. Okay, that's the only 3 ways I could think of that he could be, you know, getting all this upper hand crap. Okay, because you know, basically he's overthrown aspects of our judicial system here through, you know, money or you know, bribes, or basically violence. And, you know, if we really wanted to dig deep into his background, I wouldn't be surprised if we find some buried bodies in places in this country here that, you know, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you know, there's always people, we find a lot of times people go hiking out in the woods, they find a skull somewhere, and they, you know, they thought, oh, this person we were looking for them 20 years ago. You know, I mean, things happen like that in this country. People get murdered and there's unsolved mysteries and stuff. You never know. You never fucking know. All right. That's all I wanted to say. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.